would usually start with good Sunday morning to you. But there's not one good thing about this Sunday morning for this reason. The coffee maker is broken. That cheap ripoff broke down after a dozen years and has left me with no coffee. So what you're getting is the raw, au naturel Coach A, and you're probably not going to like it because I've had no caffeine, and that puts everybody else in danger. At least the Texans don't even play today. Pardon me one second. Was that just about the dangest Saturday you ever saw? I mean, it came with all of this hype and all of this billing, and it really lived up to it everywhere. College football, what went on in baseball, just amazing. Of course, it wasn't dead solid perfect because the Florida Atlantic Owls came from behind to beat the Rice Owls as the Rice Owls gave one away. Kind of made my jaw clench a little bit. But Lindsey Scott Jr., that phenomenal quarterback at UIW, 5 more touchdown passes yesterday in a big win over Nichols. So Lindsey Scott Jr., let's see, I can put my math skills to work here. He's got 32 touchdown passes on the year against only 2 interceptions. There are people calling him the best player in college football. They're not necessarily wrong. Okay, so I'm still trying to figure out how Tennessee pulled that out late yesterday. That they were able to move the ball that far in that little time to set up that ugly but beautiful game-winning field goal. I mean, what an effort that was. But did you get this feeling? I'm not taking anything away from Alabama because they got in that early hold and they climbed out. But did they just not ever really look like the Tide to you? I mean, they had some explosive plays, but all the penalties, they had 17 penalties. They made mental mistakes galore. And then finally, we get that helicopter field goal to win the game for the Vols. That looked like the last chopper out of Saigon, didn't it? But it also looked like victory. So who's number 1 for right now? Doesn't really matter about the polls. I don't really get into that. But I'll ride with the Vols until somebody beats them and proves me wrong. Things are getting better in Austin. Yes, they are. And here's the proof. That game yesterday against Iowa State, that is exactly the kind of game that the Longhorns would have lost for the last, I don't know, dozen years, especially last year. And remember when Texas got that early block punt in the game deep in Cyclone territory and got no points out of it? That would have been the end of last year's Longhorn team, but instead they toughed it out. That's good. Look, I'm a big fan of Matt Campbell, the Iowa State coach. He has done a phenomenal job. So I am not in any way besmirching his overall reputation. But Matt, you made an ass out of yourself yesterday. Because number 1, that was a fumble, and number 2, that was not targeting. You know, Sonny Dykes, he did a great job at SMU. But doesn't he look more comfortable now at TCU? And the Frogs are an absolute pleasure to watch, except for those uniforms. Let's see, Stanford beat Notre Dame. Didn't break my heart. I watched a lot of college football yesterday, and I don't think I've ever seen a day on which there were so many missed big play opportunities by so many teams. I mean, just blatantly dropped balls. Receivers looked like they had their hands on backwards. Missed receivers, stupid fumbles, But the funny thing was, though, all these mistakes, in many cases, just seemed to heighten the excitement of the day. I'm going to make a very difficult concession for me. It pains me to say this, but Michigan's pretty good. You stay up late enough to watch Utah's victory over USC. The Utes go for 2 with 48 seconds left at home. They get it, and they deal USC the first loss of the Lincoln Riley era. Baseball, Dodgers, gone. Braves, gone. Yankees, on life support. Astros on their way to the ALCS yet again. 18 innings, 6 hours and 22 minutes, and it was torture for everybody, including fans. What a historic victory. Let's say this, I know what, the Mariners had waited, 21 years or so since their last home or postseason game of any kind, and they lose that one. Here's the thing, the record book will reflect that the Mariners got swept. But they brought no shame to themselves. They could have won any or all of those 3 games. So as an Astros fan, I'm more relieved than anything else. And that kid, Pena, never going to have to buy a beer himself for the rest of his natural life. Okay, so it's an NFL Sunday, and if you go to radicallyrational.com, you can check out the blog. It's got all of my Sunday soothsayer picks, but I'll give you one that a lot of them you probably aren't going to like. I told you I hadn't had any caffeine. Look, that's going to be a great game tonight between the Cowboys and Eagles because you have 2 superb defenses. Right now, the Eagles are a little bit more of a complete team. Philly 27, Dallas 24. Caffeinate this man. Have a great Sunday. We're Radically Rational.